Hello everybody. If you want to read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short Story 710, The Light on the Cliff. Upper Beginner. The old lighthouse stood on a high cliff. It was made of thick white stone. Liam was the keeper. He lived there alone. Every evening he turned on the huge lamp. The bright light shone far out over the dark sea. One cold Tuesday, the wind was very strong. Liam was cleaning the glass. He saw something strange in the water. It was not a boat. It was a large metal box. The box was floating close to the rocks. Liam waited for the storm to stop. In the morning, the sea was calm. He went down the winding steps to the beach. The metal box was on the sand. It was heavy, and it had no lock. Liam pushed the lid open. Inside there were many small round glass balls. They were the colour of the sun. They did not look important, just pretty. Liam took one ball and closed the box. He put the box high on a rock. He walked back to the lighthouse. Later, Liam sat at his table. He looked at the glass ball. He thought about the sea and the box. He dropped the ball by accident. It did not break. Instead, a little tune, like music, came from it. The sound was very soft, like a tiny bell. Liam listened closely. The music was a message. It was a warning about a big ship sailing too near the rocks. Liam quickly ran up the steps. He changed the rhythm of the lighthouse beam. He flashed the light quickly, then slowly. This was the signal for danger. The ship saw the signal. It turned away just in time. The next morning, a small helicopter arrived. A man with a uniform got out. He came inside and smiled. "You saved the ship, keeper," the man said. "That box was an old communication device. The glass balls were message recorders. Thank you for listening." Liam smiled. He was not just a lightkeeper now. He was a hero. He knew his small, lonely life on the cliff was very important. Vocabulary notes. Lighthouse. Definition. A tall building or tower on the coast, the edge of the sea, or on an island that has a powerful light at the top. Its job is to warn ships about dangerous rocks or shallow water. Example. The old lighthouse stood on a high cliff. Similar words. Synonyms. Beacon, signal tower, navigational aid. Context note. The person who works and lives in a lighthouse is called a keeper, like Liam in the story. Cliff. Definition. A high area of rock or earth with a very steep side, often found next to the sea. Example. The old lighthouse stood on a high cliff. Similar words. Synonyms. Edge, bluff, precipice, more formal, advanced. Context note. To be on a cliff means you are at the top edge. To be at the foot of a cliff means you are at the bottom, near the beach. Communication. Definition. The process of sharing information, thoughts or feelings with someone else. This can be done by speaking, writing or using signals. Example. That box was an old communication device. Similar words, synonyms. Conversation, message, signaling, transmission. Context note. A device is a piece of equipment, like a phone or a radio, used for a specific purpose. A communication device sends or receives messages. Warning. Definition. A statement, sign or signal that tells someone about a possible danger, problem or unpleasant event. It advises caution. Example. The music was a message. It was a warning about a big ship sailing too near the rocks. Similar words, synonyms. Alert, caution, signal, notice. Usage tip. You can give a warning or receive a warning. If you ignore a warning, you might face a problem. Definition. The hard, solid, non-metallic mineral matter that rocks are made of. It is used for building, like concrete or marble. Example. It was made of thick white stone. Similar words, synonyms: rock, boulder, masonry, when talking about building materials. Context note: this word is used as a material. Buildings, statues, and walls are often made of stone. Story written by Gemini AI. Image created by Gemini AI. To read all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, unicorn heads.
All right, so we're going to dive into what seems like a really simple story about a lighthouse keeper. But trust me, hidden inside his quiet, solitary life is this incredibly powerful lesson about purpose and how the things we do every single day can suddenly become the most important thing in the world.
And boom, just like that, we're in. With one sentence, you can almost feel the salty air. You can hear the waves crashing, and you can feel that deep, deep sense of being all alone.
So, let's get to know the guy at the heart of all this. A man whose whole world is basically defined by being alone and at the same time having this huge responsibility on his shoulders. So this is Liam, and his life is a loop. Every single evening, it's the same routine, all by himself. His one vital job? Turn on that light. It's kind of funny, right? His work keeps so many other people safe, but he's completely unseen. He's essential, but at the same time, totally invisible.
You have to understand, his entire world is this lighthouse. It's basically a promise, standing there in the dark, telling ships, hey, I'll keep you safe. And Liam, well, Liam is the one who keeps that promise, night after night.
And you know, the lighthouse isn't just where he lives. In a way, it's a mirror of Liam himself. It's sturdy, it's reliable, it's built to just stand there and take whatever the sea throws at it, just like him, enduring that constant pressure of being alone.
Even the material it's built from, stone, just drives that idea home. This place is a fortress of duty, and it's not going anywhere.
But then, of course, something has to happen. That whole routine, it just gets shattered. The sea, the one constant thing in his life, decides to deliver a surprise right to his doorstep. And yeah, this changes everything. And it all just unfolds in a rush. First, this crazy storm hits on a Tuesday. In the middle of all that chaos, Liam spots something out in the water, a big metal box. By the next morning, the storm's gone, and there it is, just sitting on the sand.
So here's the big moment, right? Imagine being Liam, standing there on the beach. This box is a total mystery. It's heavy, there's no lock. It's a puzzle with no key. What on earth could be in there?
And then he opens it, and honestly, it's kind of a letdown. No treasure, no secret documents, nothing like that. Just a bunch of small, round glass balls, the color of the sun. They just look like pretty little decorations. Absolutely no clue about the secret they're hiding.
And this is where the real story kicks in. Because these things that look totally useless, well, they're about to reveal a purpose that nobody, especially not Liam, could have ever guessed. And get this, the big discovery? It happens completely by accident. He just fumbles, drops one of the balls, but instead of smashing into a million pieces, it sings. This tiny, beautiful little sound, like a bell, comes out of it. And that sound changes everything. So that little melody, it wasn't just a pretty sound. It was exactly this, a warning, a signal that something was wrong.
And this is the heart of the whole story. He realizes the music is a message, a hidden, urgent warning that a big ship is in serious trouble, getting way too close to the rocks. And Liam is the only person on Earth who heard it.
So what washed up wasn't just junk from the sea. It was an incredible piece of communication technology using sound, using music, to send a message across the water. So strange, but so cool. Okay, so suddenly the stakes are just sky high. He gets the message, he knows what he has to do, and he has to do it like right now. It's a race against time.
And what's amazing is he doesn't even hesitate, not for a second. He hears that musical warning, and he just goes. He sprints up those lighthouse steps, and he uses the only tool he has, that giant light, and he changes its rhythm, turning that steady, comforting pulse into a frantic signal for danger. And it works.
It absolutely works. The ship sees his signal, it turns, and it misses the rocks just in time. An incredible moment of relief. All because he could translate that weird musical message into a signal everyone understands.
All right, so the immediate danger is over, but now we get to see what this all really means, not just for the ship, but for Liam himself.
And here it is, his validation. But the most powerful part of this whole quote for me is the end. Thank you for listening. He's not just being thanked for what he did, but for paying attention, for noticing this small, strange thing that anyone else would have just ignored.
And just like that, the last piece of the puzzle clicks into place. Turns out, this box was some kind of old tech, maybe lost for years, that washed up at the perfect moment. And those pretty glass balls, they were message recorders. Amazing. I mean, look at this. It's his whole journey, right there. He starts out as just a lonely guy doing a repetitive job, and he ends up a hero. Not because his job changed, but because one crazy moment showed him and everyone else just how important that job really was. When you boil it all down, this entire incredible story comes down to one single number. One. One person doing one lonely job who just decided to pay attention. And because he did that, a whole ship full of people was saved. It's just wow. A massive reminder of the impact one person can have.
And so that's what I want to leave you with. Think about it. Liam's job was the same thing, day in, day out, until it wasn't. So it makes you wonder, right? What hidden importance, what incredible purpose might be lying dormant inside your own daily routine, just waiting for the right moment to show itself?